My Blinkit order came, and look at this. It's come in a shopping basket, not a bag, because if the bags get wet, then they tear. But here we go. Lemongrass, some coconut milk, onions.
We have to give the basket back.
I gotta give the basket back to the guy, so I have to unload this really quick. Okay, my peeps, look. Finally got more curry pata. This is lemongrass. Red pumpkin, I'm cool with somebody else picking. Look at these. Indian cucumber. I definitely have enough onions now. I have one lime, so this is good. Not so happy about the tomatoes. What to do?
I got a comment on one of my videos a couple of days ago asking me to show how to make rotis, so I'm going to do that as part of my lunch. I've got 2/3 of a cup of whole wheat flour, and you want to use one that has less gluten. Indian wheat is a soft wheat, so it builds gluten completely different than like your American all-purpose flour. I use a dough whisk because I don't want to get my fingers sticky, but you can totally put your hands in and use it. I've taken 1/3 of a cup of water. I'm just going to make a little tiny well in the center here and add half of my water to begin with. It's very humid, so I don't know that I will use all of this. Every dough, every day hydrates just a little bit different. You can see I have a lot of loose flour, so I'm just going to add on the edge here. We start to turn. So I'm acting like I'm a stand mixer, essentially. So I turn the bowl and my whisk. Try and scoop everything together, essentially. You can still see it's a little dry in the bottom here. Just add a little bit more water. It's about the equivalent of a tablespoon at a time. Sorry, I'm traveling all over the place because this bowl is spinning, so it's probably going out of focus. Okay, you can see in the bottom here, there is no loose dry flour. This is the point where I add oil. For this amount of flour, I only want like 1/4 of a teaspoon, so it's just going to be like a little drizzle. And we'll incorporate this in. You don't want to put the oil directly into the flour when you're making chapati dough because it doesn't hydrate the same way as water, and it will give you some dried out chapati, fulka, roti, flatbread, whatever you want to call it. You can see that with the addition of the oil, it's all just coming together. So this dough isn't sticky at all. Just push it right out of my dough whisk. Gather it together and start to knead. And I know you're thinking this is looking really dry. When you knead it, it gets hydrated all the way through. See, I'm able to pick up any of the loose bits that were there. So you just want to fold over and stretch. You fold over in the opposite direction and press down to stretch. Fold over in half and stretch. You can see it's building those gluten networks. Do this at a quicker speed. With the bowl, it makes it easier because you can just turn the bowl. Makes your work much easier and faster. Wow. I think our chapati dough is about done. It's all come together. It bounces back. You don't want to over knead this or it will be really tough and chewy. So just cover this, let it sit for 15, 20. If you pinch a ball and it still brings, if you pinch off a ball when you're trying to roll them and it still springs back, then you want to let it sit. 30 minutes is usually the maximum. I've got some red lobia pods also called long beans. And inside of these pods, when you break them open, see if I can get this. It has little beans inside. And when these mature, they become this red chawli, or red lobia beans. These are related to white lobia beans, or as we call them in the US, black-eyed peas. Let's see, just little tiny. Black-eyed peas are much larger than these are. We're gonna cook these together today. It's an iron powerhouse lunch. Now you may have noticed that these have turned a little reddish brown, like oxidized iron. It's okay. It's just refrigerator stress. They're not bruised. They're perfectly safe to eat. It's not some kind of fungus or anything. Just when they get really cold in the refrigerator, they get a little stressed. Like bananas also turn dark when you stick them in the refrigerator. Just going to cut these into little pieces. I'm serving it with chapati, so I want to cut them very small. If you were serving this with rice, and you can go ahead and leave them, in half-inch pieces or a little bit bigger. I've rinsed and drained a half of a cup of the red lobia. And add 500 milliliters of water. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder, and about a half teaspoon of oil because we don't want this to foam over. I just need to put the lid on. And once this reaches pressure, it needs to cook for 8 minutes. Here's the other veggies you need for this dish. You can use 1 large or 2 small onions. I've got 1 small carrot, a very small green bell pepper, and you need about a half of a cup of either tomato puree, chopped tomatoes, whatever. These are the ones that came from the food delivery the other day, and they are not very pretty, so I'm going to grate these and throw away the skin. So I've got 1 inch of cinnamon, ground black pepper, some ajwain or carom seeds that have been lightly crushed, 1 black lychee pod or a buddy lychee or a masala lychee. It's just a black cardamom pod. Then we've got 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which is fennel seeds, and cumin or jeera. Just going to put that in our warm oil. And then about 10 curry leaves. And to this we will add our onions, bell pepper, and carrot. We want to saute this on medium-low heat until the onion starts to turn translucent. I've got about 2 teaspoons of ginger garlic paste. I've got some dry mango powder, some turmeric, coriander powder, garam masala, and salt hair. This is our grated tomato. I just used a box grater, and you can see that this skin is totally clean. Our masala is done. You can see the oil is leaving the pan here. The tomatoes are cooked through all of the way. Now, I've added carrots to this dish because those tomatoes were on the unripe side, and it really cuts through the acid. You don't have to add any sugar to balance it out. Just add a carrot. It's time to open our pressure cooker. And we're going to add our chopped lobia pods and our masala from earlier. We just want to stir this around a little bit to distribute the masala. You want to taste for salt at this point. Put our lid back on. and cook for 1 minute under high pressure. I've already divided my dough into 8 equal portions. You just cut it in half, and cut it in half again. You want to make sure that your dough balls are as round as possible. Smash it flat. You want that nice circle that helps you while you're rolling to make sure that your chapati stays round. You just want to turn 90 degrees and flip over as you go. And if you apply pressure to only one side, your chapati will turn. That's how you get those nice, thin, evenly rolled out chapati. Is it a perfect circle? No. Is that okay? Absolutely. You want to make sure you get all of the excess flour off. Ooh, I think my tawa might be too hot.
My chapati have been sitting for about 30 minutes, but they're still nice and soft. Look at that. No cracking. So give something new a try. What's your favorite lesser known vegetable dish?